Solving by completing the square. When a quadratic equation cannot be solved by factoring or by setting the square term equal to the constant, the method shown in this section, completing the square, can be used to solve quadratic equations that are not favorable. To solve an equation by completing the square, you should use the following steps. Step number 1. If the coefficient of the x squared term is not 1, multiply every term on both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of the coefficient. Step number 2. Get the x squared term and the x term on the left side of the equal sign and the constant term on the right side. Step number 3. Take half of the coefficient of the x term, square it, add it to both sides of the equal sign. Step number 4. Factor the left side of the equation and simplify the right side. Step number 5. Take the square root of both sides, solve for the variable. Step number 7. Simplify the right side. Solving by completing the square. Number 1. Problem number 1. X squared minus 4x minus 7 is equal to 0. They add 7 to both sides. So we're going to add 7 on the left-hand side and also on the right-hand side. So we're going to write x squared minus 4x minus 7 plus 7 is equal to 0 plus 7. That's our first step in this problem. Once we do that, we will get x squared minus 4x is equal to 7. So we're going to use this, and 1/2 of 4 of negative 4 is negative 2. If you square negative 2 squared is equal to 4. This 4 we're going to add back into the problem. So we're going to go x squared minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 7 plus 4. Factor the left-hand side of the equation, and we are going to add 4 plus 7 to right-hand side of the equation. X minus 2 squared, which equals 4 plus 7, is going to equal to 11. Square root of that. And we're going to take the square root of this. Once we take the square root, it drops it cancels out, so it becomes x minus 2, which is equal to the square root of 11. Add 2 to both sides of the equation. Once we add 2 to both sides, so that's x minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 2 plus or minus the square root of 11. So that will cancel, and what we'll have left will be x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 11. So for this problem, our final answer will be x equals 2 plus or minus the square root of 11. 2x, our next problem is 2x squared minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, first step in this problem, we will divide each term by 2, the coefficient of the squared term. So this is the coefficient of the squared term. So we're going to rewrite the problem. 2x squared minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. So we're going to divide 2 into that, 2 into this, 2 into this, and 2 into this. So it's going to give us x squared minus 3 over 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. Do this. X squared, so add 2 to both sides of the equation. So we're going to x squared minus 3 over 2x minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 0 plus 2. So it'll be x squared minus 3 over 2x, which is equal to 2. We're going to take half of the coefficient of the linear term and square it. So half the coefficient of the linear term would be negative 3 over 2, and half of, 3 over 2 part, half of that is 1/2. So we're going to do 3 over 2 times 1/2, which is equal to 3 over 4. Square root of 3 over 4, and then once we do that, it equals 9 over 16. Once we got that, we're going to add 16 to both sides of the equation. So that tells us how our equation is going to look. It's going to look, and this is our original equation. Our original equation, not original equation, but our equation, once we had reduced it, was x squared minus 3 over 2x is equal to 2. So it'll be x squared minus 3 over 2x plus 9 over 16 is equal to 2 plus 9 over 16. Factor the left-hand side of the equation and add 2 to 9 over 16 on the right-hand side of the equation. X minus 3 over 4 squared is equal to 16. 1 goes in it 16 times. 16 times 2 is 32 plus 9 over 16. So we get this again, x minus 3 over 4 squared is equal to 32 plus 9, which is equal to 41 over 16. And now we're going to take the square root of both sides. So take the square root of left-hand side and right-hand side of the equation. Take the square root of x minus 3 over 4 squared is equal to square root plus or minus 41 over 16. Once we take the square root of both sides, we're going to have, this is going to drop this square root, this is going to cancel, and it's going to become x minus 3 over 4, which is equal to plus or minus the square root of 41 over 4. So once we do that, we just prepared to remove the fraction from the radical. We're going to solve for x. X minus 3 over 4 is equal to plus or minus 41 over 4. That's after we had simplified and we took the square root of both sides. This is the answer we received. Now we're going to add 3 over 4 to both sides of the equation. X is equal to 3 over 4 plus or minus the square root of 41 over 4, all right, which is equal to 3 plus or minus the square root of 41 all over 4. X is equal to 3 plus the square root of 41 over 4, or X is equal to 3 minus the square root of 41 all over 4.